Democratic Congress moves over to the Nigeria Democratic Congress alongside fellow former presidential candidate Rabiu Kwakwanso. Nigeria police dismisses ASP Nuhu Usman and 4 other officers over the unlawful killing of 28-year-old Mene Ogidi in Efuru, Delta State. President Bola Tinubu begins a 3-nation trip to France, Kenya and Rwanda, where he is expected to push for increased investment into Nigeria. And Iran says that it is reviewing the United States' response to its latest peace proposal. Call it a political shock, and you may not be wrong. Mr. Peter Obi has announced his departure from the African Democratic Congress, the ADC, just 4 months after joining what he describes as a coalition to wrestle power from the All Progressives Congress. Mr. Obi, in a message on social media handle, cites worsening political climate marked by internal crisis, external interference, and growing hostility within party structure as his reasons for leaving the party. Mr. Obi further says that his exit is not due to any personal grievances with party leaders, including former Senate President David Mark or former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Instead, he points out to a pattern of internal division, legal disputes, and what he describes as infiltration of destabilizing forces, similar to challenges he previously encountered in the Labour Party. He also decried a trend where integrity, humility, and adherence to due process are often misinterpreted as weakness, expressing concern that genuine efforts towards nation building are increasingly undermined by suspicion, exclusion, and political maneuvering. Mr. Obi, however, reaffirmed his commitments to Nigeria's progress, emphasizing that his primary concern remains the welfare of citizens, especially on issues of insecurity, poverty, and displacement. Well, Mr. Peter Obi did not leave his supporters guessing for too long about his next political move as he announced his membership of the Nigeria Democratic Congress alongside former presidential candidate of the NNPP, Rabiu Kwakwanso. This announcement was made after the two leaders held a closed-door consultative meeting with the party's national leader, former Bayelsa State Governor Henry Siriake Dixon, lasting over 1 hour. And I'll bring you details of that membership subsequently in the bulletin. In the meantime, in southeastern part of Nigeria, Enugu State Governor Peter Mbah is excited about the endorsement of his second-term bid and that of President Bola Tinubu by the people of Enugu North Senatorial Zone. He was speaking at the rally organized by Enugu North Senatorial Zone to celebrate his milestone as state governor so far.
Enugu North Senatorial District comes alive as the people and stakeholders have gathered here at the Nsukka Township Stadium for the endorsement rally of President Bola Tinubu and Enugu State Governor Peter Mbah to support their re-election bids. Governor Mbah and his entourage make their way in amidst jubilation and fanfare as he goes on to acknowledge the people who have come out in their numbers to endorse him. In the local parlance, former Governor of Enugu State, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, told the governor and his deputy, as well as the president, that his senatorial zone will continue to give them the required backing.
My presence here is simple. We are here to endorse our president and our governor. We are here to support them, and their re-election is our priority.
A former lawmaker who represented the Enugu North Senatorial Zone at the Senate describes him as a man who understands the job, even as state lawmakers say their unanimous decision is based on performance.
We have a man of few words, a man who knows the onions. We have a man who does not need to be consulted to give you what you want. He knows what to do with that consultation.
For the women, This will translate to block votes come 2027.
APC Enugu State, APC Enugu North Senatorial Zone have organic members. As you can see today, these people are organic members of Enugu North Senatorial District that will vote. So this thing is significant already that Peter Mba, come 2027, Enugu Senatorial District will give him block votes.
Governor Mba, grateful for the donation of 102 million naira towards his re-election, assures the people that he will not take their support for granted.
Your endorsement today matters. Your endorsement of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria matters. Because he is that president that broke the 65-year-old jinx. Appointing your son, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. That's why your commitment to stand behind him January 2027 matters.
Enugu North Senatorial Zone is the third to endorse the re-election bid of President Tinubu and Governor Mba. It's expected that this show of presence will translate to votes for the candidates.
I told you earlier that Mr. Peter Obi has announced his membership of the Nigeria Democratic Congress, the NDC, alongside former presidential candidate of the NNPP, Mr. Rabiu Kwakwanso. Please find the details.
The Nigeria Democratic Congress Secretariat, which doubles as the residence of the former governor of Bayelsa State, Mr. Seriake Dixon, is hosting a consultative meeting with the former Labour Party presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, and former Kano State Governor, Mr. Rabiu Kwankwaso. This meeting is coming just a few hours after Mr. Peter Obi and Rabiu Kwankwaso dumped the ADC. After the meeting behind closed doors for over 1 hour, the leader of the party applauds the crisis-free nature of the Nigeria Democratic Congress as he welcomes the new entrants.
On behalf of our party's leadership, that you, the two of the biggest political brands in our nation.
The former governor of Kano State, Mr. Rabiu Kwankwaso, calls on Nigerians to register under the party as he announced an immediate registration of his camp.
Is submitting its register, I think, on the 6th. Now, at this point, I would like to invite all Nigerians, including brothers and sisters who are in diaspora, especially those who are interested in contesting elections in this party, to register as soon as possible.
His part, Mr. Peter Obi advocates the need for the federal government to promote a free democratic space devoid of political crisis.
When we are using this occasion to plead for the government of today, you know that I contested the election in 2023 in a different party. Rabiu Kwankwaso contested the election in a different party. But the government of today have ensured that they put up crisis upon crisis, which led to litigations and everything in our party that made us to abandon those parties and move to join another party, while thinking that our situation will abate. But what we saw is that they carried the same problem to where we went to, creating several unresolved litigations and everything. And today, left that place for NDC, where the leader have already told us no litigation. We are pleading with them. For sake of democracy, please, don't come here.
The in-law that have already been accepted in the family, the membership, the NDC.
The meeting climaxes with Mr. Peter Obi and Mr. Rabiu Kwankwaso receiving their membership cards of the Nigeria Democratic Congress.
This is what we decorate you with.
And over to the South region, where Senator representing Delta South, Joel Onowapo Thomas, has officially declared his own intention to seek re-election, pointing to his legislative achievements and his constituency development efforts as grounds for another term. During a declaration event at Ole Township Stadium, the senator highlighted some of the bills sponsored by him in the 10th National Assembly, which he says are aimed at improving lives and addressing key developmental challenges.
Having gained experience and capacity, I want you to trust me with your mandate once again. And I promise, working with the leadership of the party and our constituents, I will devote my time and energy in expanding opportunities for my constituents, correct mistakes, create more life-impactful bills, improve on more job creation opportunities, people-oriented and accessible representation, and more importantly, to complete the work I have started in the Senate. For us in Delta South, we are irrevocably committed to the re-election of His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And again, we are also irrevocably committed to the re-election of our governor, the Right Honorable Sheriff Oborowori. This combination is the most promising synergy for the development of our dear state and the Federal Republic of Nigeria. My dear people, anything aside this is a waste of our opportunity.
And in the southwestern region, the race to the 2027 general election in Ogun State is gathering momentum with the inauguration of members of the Yayi Progressives movement and the unveiling of 26 campaign buses in support of a consensus governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress in the state, Solomon Adiola. The event, held at the Arcade Palace Pavilion in Abeokuta, the state capital, was well attended by party chieftains, elders and supporters from the 20 local government areas of the state. The convener of the group says the Yayi Progressive Movement is targeted at expanding grassroots mobilization for the party's candidate.
We are here for 3 in 1. Number 1, for inauguration of all the full soldiers of Yayi Progressive Movement towards the realization of 100% vote for His Excellency, our Father, Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu, and the realization of our principal, our brother, our father, Aremo Solomon Oladilekan Adiola Yayi for governor of Ogun State come 2020, and also to give a special empowerment to all the 26 state constituencies of Ogun State, and to also make sure that our brother, our father, our boss, Omoba Dapo Abiodun, emerged as the senator of Ogun East.
In part 2, after the break, President Bola Tinubu begins a 3-nation trip to France, Kenya and Rwanda, where he is expected to push for increased investment in Nigeria. Please join us again.
Distinctive quality ingredients by Intercontinental Distillers Limited.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our main stories. Former presidential candidate Peter Obi dumps the African Democratic Congress, moves over to the Nigeria Democratic Congress alongside fellow former presidential candidate Rabiu Kwankwaso. Nigeria police dismisses ASP Nuhu Usman and 4 other officers over unlawful killing of 28-year-old Menel Gidi in Ifuru, Delta State. President Bola Tinubu begins a 3-nation trip to France, Kenya and Rwanda, where he is expected to push for increased investment into Nigeria. And Iran says it is reviewing the United States' response to its latest peace proposal. To the northeastern part of Nigeria now, where Governor of Adamawa State, Umaru Fintiri, is reaffirming his commitment to public service, pledging to build on the achievements of his administration. The governor was speaking in Mubi while addressing APC stakeholders from the zone after announcing his decision to contest for the Adamawa North senatorial seat.
This event holding at Mubi, the commercial hub of Adamawa State, has in attendance top government officials, members of the APC and supporters from across the 5 local government areas who reaffirmed their support and commitment to Governor Umaru Fintiri's senatorial bid. The event is at the behest of APC stakeholders in the zone. They are here to present a nomination form and expression of interest form to Governor Umaru Fintiri to contest the seat of the senator representing Adamawa Northern Senatorial Zone. Speakers at the event applaud the efforts of the Governor Fintiri in developing the state as the nomination and expression of interest forms is presented. The federal lawmaker representing Song and Fufuru Federal Constituency describes the move as well-deserved, while Senator representing Adamawa North believes it is only right for him to step aside for Governor Fintiri.
They say honor is given to whom honor is due. Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri is already paid his due in Adamawa State, so giving him the opportunity to serve as a senator at the National Assembly to represent people of Northern Zone is a great opportunity for Northern Zone, because everybody knows that Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri is a man of powerful personalities.
I represent this district in the National Assembly, and the people of this district unanimously, including myself, called on him to come and contest. And so I feel it is only right as the representative of people to lead them in purchasing the form for him.
After the event, Governor Fintiri assures that he will not betray the trust placed on him as he expresses readiness to seek his party's ticket ahead of the election.
I have graciously answered that clarion call so that I don't disappoint them, I don't fail them, because they believe in me that I can always deliver for them. And I've promised them, with God on my side, I will clinch the ticket and I will deliver according to their wishes.
Many at the event believe the call for Governor Fintiri to contest is a collective decision by stakeholders in the interest of the zone, as they express confidence in Governor Fintiri's capacity to contribute meaningfully at the national level if elected.
Away from politics now, the Nigeria Police Force has dismissed ASP Nuhu Usman and 4 other officers over their alleged involvement in the unlawful killing of a suspect, Mene Ogidi, in an incident that happened at a motor park in the Iforo Delta State on April the 26th, 2026. Addressing journalists at the force headquarters in Abuja, the Force Public Relations Officer, DCP Anthony Placid, says the extrajudicial killing occurred after the suspect was apprehended by civilians who discovered a parcel in his possession containing a locally fabricated firearm and live ammunition.
Following the incident, the leadership of the force ordered an immediate and thorough investigation conducted by the police monitoring unit. The investigation established that the actions of ASP Nuhu and members of his team constituted professional misconduct, abuse of office, and conduct likely to cause a breach of public peace, culminating in the unlawful killing of Mr. Mene Ogidi. The force wishes to unequivocally no criminal suspicion, however grave, justifies extrajudicial action. Every suspect, regardless of the nature of allegation against him, is entitled to due process under the law. Following the conclusion of investigations, ASP Nuhu and 3 other members of his team have been arrested and currently in custody. Internal disciplinary procedures have been concluded against all officers found culpable. The force wishes to state clearly and without ambiguity that all indicted officers have been recommended for dismissal from the Nigerian Police Force. The Police Service Commission has reviewed and ratified these recommendations. Their dismissal is therefore confirmed and takes immediate effect.
And still on crime, the family of Abdul Samad Jamiu, a serving National Youth Corps member who was killed by soldiers of God's Brigade at the Shagari Estate in Dede in Abuja, has rejected the military's account of the incident. The family claims physical evidence disproves an exchange of gunfire, adding that their son was killed at about 2 a.m. on Sunday when military personnel entered the estate.
Sunday, April 26, 2026 is a red-letter day for the family of Abdul Samad Jamiu, as the day witnessed sorrow, tears and blood. The tragic incident involving the death of Abdul Samad Jamiu, a serving National Youth Service Corps member, occurred during a security operation in Abuja. The Guards Brigade confirmed in a statement that Jamiu was killed in a crossfire during a response to a robbery. The statement states that, upon arrival, the troops came under gunfire from the fleeing armed robbers, resulting in a brief but intense exchange, and in the course of the engagement, Mr. Jamiu was caught in the crossfire. But despite efforts by troops to secure the area and preserve lives, he sadly succumbed to his injuries. However, the family in an interview disagrees, saying physical evidence disapproves an exchange of gunfire, adding that their son was killed at about 2 a.m. on Sunday when military personnel entered their estate.
There was nothing of such in the area, not even close to me, not even in the entire community. The only gunshot that the vigilante confirmed they heard was the only gunshot in my house.
Immediately I came down, I was perceiving the smell of gunshots, like smoke. And I asked them, where is my brother? Then they dragged me outside. When they dragged me outside, they started explaining that they showed me barbed wire, and they were just explaining. Then I still asked them, where is my brother? Let me go and check his room. And I ran, they dragged me, they were struggling with me. They telling me, calm down, calm down. They're like blocking the door so I will not enter. Then I struggled, I entered his room and I met my brother laying dead. They already shot him on his head.
This account of the grieving father is corroborated by a member of the vigilante group of Nigeria.
There was no robbery attack. Nothing happened on that day. We didn't hear any gunshot anywhere apart from the one by the military.
For peace to reign, the family of the slain corps member insists on a public apology from the Guards Brigade.
When the other one come representing the chief of defense staff came, one Colonel S.O. Buhari, the first thing I told him that, please, that post that they posted and that is going around on the air, we want that to be first to be removed or to be countered, because that does not really represent what happened in this area at all. There was nothing like crossfire. There was no exchange of gun shot from any robbers on that.
A neighbor and schoolmate who claimed to have shared some moments with Jamiu on that fateful night describes the person of the deceased.
On that fateful day, we were together. The evening, I think I was one of the last people he spoke to before we left that night.
For the grieving mother, her cry is that of justice.
I want the government to help me out, to ask the perpetrators certain questions. Who called them? Why did they jump my fence? Why did they enter my son's room? Why did they kill him? Why did they call the vigilante to come and mop his blood?
The National Youth Service Corps, in a statement released in Abuja, mourns the death of Abdulsamad Jamiu. Part of the statement says that management of the Corps notes this incident with profound concern and sorrow. The scheme is actively engaging with relevant security agencies to ascertain the full circumstances surrounding the incident. As investigations continue by the Headquarters Guards Brigade, the Military High Command has waded into the matter.
On our part, we intend to conduct some internal verifications to see within those gaps which one is the most likely that occurred. And I can assure you that whoever is found to have been culpable, acted beyond his mandate, will be held accountable, and at the appropriate time will convey it to the Nigerian public.
Until his unfortunate demise, Corps member Jamiu, who is due to complete his service in May 2026, was serving at Government Junior Secondary School, Barikinado in Nasarawa State.
President Bola Tinubu has departed Abuja for France as he commences his three-nation trip. The president was seen off at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport by a delegation led by the president's chief of staff, Femi Gbadabiamila, House of Representatives member Jimmy Benson, and other government officials. According to information from the presidency, the next stop for him will be Nairobi, Kenya, to attend the Africa-France summit scheduled to begin next week. At the end of the Kenyan summit, President Tinubu will depart for Kigali in Rwanda to attend the annual Africa CEO Forum, taking place between May the 14th and the 15th. At the two summits, President Tinubu is expected to deliver statements highlighting his administration's ongoing reforms to reposition the nation as a prime destination for investment and growth. He is to be accompanied on that trip by some of his ministers and senior aides. In the meantime, Vice President Kashim Shettima is charging intending Muslim pilgrims for the 2026 Hajj to uphold national values that positively protect the country and project it, and to act as positive ambassadors of the country during their spiritual journey. The Vice President was speaking when he flagged off the 2026 Hajj airlift at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, with a renewed commitment to safety, coordination, and pilgrim welfare. The 2026 inaugural Hajj flight ceremony commenced with an airlift of about 500 pilgrims from Kogi State to Saudi Arabia, while the total number of pilgrims stands at 50,000.
Hajj is a journey that gathers nations into one congregation, disciplines the body, humbles the ego, and renews the covenant of faith, sacrifice, and submission to Allah. It reminds us that before Allah, the borders men draw between themselves dissolve, and what remains is obedience, character, and devotion. Beyond the spiritual weight of this day lies a duty we must never treat lightly. We owe every Nigerian pilgrim dignity, safety, order, compassion, and honor. The pilgrimage is a personal act of worship, yet it is also a national responsibility. Each pilgrim travels under the banner of our nation, and each institution involved carries a sacred trust. To our Hajj administrators, aviation partners, medical teams, security agencies, and service providers, I urge you to approach this assignment with diligence. The success of this operation will not be measured by the number of aircraft that depart alone, but by the comfort of our pilgrims, the orderliness of our processes, the responsiveness of our services, and the absence of avoidable hardships. While pilgrims come with prayer on their lips and trust in their hearts, the state must meet them with planning, discipline, and compassion.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Kaduna state government steps up efforts to prevent flood-related disasters across the state. Please join us again.
And we are rising with her. Every day there's a new story, a new challenge, a new discovery, and a new victory. For 30 minutes, Monday through Friday, we bring these to you from Abuja to Accra and from Nairobi to Addis. Network Africa connects the dots, giving you a full picture and bringing the continent closer to you. Network Africa. Weekdays at 4:30 p.m. only on Channels Television.
Welcome back. The governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, is calling for stronger collaboration between government and the church as a pathway to sustainable development in Nigeria. The governor was speaking at the Silver Jubilee celebration of the Catholic Bishop of Okigwe Diocese, Solomon Amadzu, held at the Immaculate Conception Cathedral in Okigwe. He emphasizes that peace remains the bedrock of progress in Nigeria. Our correspondent, Eitokwe Kuteyi, reports.
A gathering of faith, reflection and celebration as dignitaries within and outside Imo State converge on the Immaculate Conception Cathedral in Okigwe, Imo State for the Episcopal Silver Jubilee of Bishop Solomon Amadzu. Amongst those in attendance is the Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma, the former military governor of Imo State, Ike Nwachukwu, the deputy governor of Imo State, Chinyere Ekomaru, and former INEC chairman, Professor Maurice Iwu. In his homily, the Bishop of Ekolobia Diocese, Peter Opaleke, urges leaders to embrace selflessness and integrity in service.
It shows Bishop Amadzu's life disposition and focus. He has transcended himself and its need for validation. He doesn't need anybody to validate him. He does not need anybody to tell him you are doing well or not doing well. He has his focus on the person who called him to help us all to respond more sincerely and be veritable agents of liberation from pride, selfishness and greed, and contribute to making God's kingdom and God's will be done on earth as in heaven.
Lending his voice, the former chairman of INEC, Professor Maurice Iwu, describes the bishop as humble and committed to the welfare of his people.
This is a man who lived a life of purpose, who inspired us, who loved us, and all we are trying to do is love him back.
Governor Uzodinma underscores the role of peace and unity in national development. He highlights the shared responsibility between government and the church in improving the lives of citizens.
We must encourage the church
We must work with the church as citizens, as a government. The church has a responsibility of deploying a constructive collaboration with the government. Because the job before the church and the job before the government, it is only through appropriate synergy that the results will be manifest.
As the nation continues to navigate its challenges, the message here is clear. Peace and partnership are essential for national progress. Ejitokwa Channels Television News.
And as the rainy season approaches, the Kaduna State Emergency Management Agency is stepping up efforts to prevent flood-related disasters across the state as it holds a sensitization meeting with stakeholders on flood risk mitigation. And this meeting, held in collaboration with Christian Aid Nigeria and UNICEF, brought together local governments, vice chairmen, councillors and community representatives, all to discuss effective strategies to prevent flood.
In a proactive move to reduce the devastating impact of flooding during the rainy season, the Kaduna State Emergency Management Agency convened this high-level sensitization meeting, which attracted local government vice chairmen, councillors, community leaders and emergency response officials. Addressing participants, the Executive Secretary of Kasema highlighted the increasing risks posed by seasonal flooding, urging local authorities to prioritize early warning systems, proper drainage maintenance, and community awareness campaigns.
It is about the safety of our citizens. It is about what is needed and what should be done. We cannot have a proper and active early warning guide, early warning system, without having a valid hazard mapping. So this is the beginning.
9 local government areas in Kaduna State have been identified as being prone to flooding this year, just as the agency warns residents about the dangers associated with flooding, as well as measures they can take to protect themselves.
All prone areas identified by NIMED and NASA, not even just the protected areas, there are prone areas that is more of a cultural ethics, that every year, no matter what, you will have either flash flood or a full flood.
Local government representatives and other stakeholders emphasized the urgent need for early action, citing recurring flood incidents in vulnerable communities across Kaduna State, while participants are advised to strengthen grassroots awareness on prevention and preparedness.
Every local government from each ward will have CIC staffs. Now we are going to give them awareness and they will take it down to the wards.
What this exercise is doing is to map out the vulnerabilities and capacities of the various local government areas and to see how they are better prepared.
The sensitization campaign is part of broader efforts by the Governor Obasani administration to build resilience and safeguard communities against natural disasters.
Meanwhile, the Special Assistant to the President on Community Engagement, Northwest, Abdullahi Yakasi, has outlined plans by the government to respond to climate change affecting the Northwestern region. The presidential aide, who was speaking at a press conference, says the challenges facing the region also present an opportunity to drive investment and sustainable growth. Lending his voice, the Managing Director of the Northwest Development Commission, Professor Shehu Maji, outlined the project that will bridge the gap between massive deforestation and job creation drive in the region.
So at the summit, we are launching the Northwest Climate Fund to mobilize capital. We are also introducing the Northwest Climate Investment Marketplace to connect bankable projects in the region with investors coming in to look at those marketplaces among the states, because this is going to be a digital platform where those climate actions in those states, the investors can look at it and see how they can collaborate and partner in that marketplace. Our goal is to create jobs strengthen agriculture, improve infrastructure, and accelerate national development in the Northwest region.
We'll engage about 5,000 youths at the beginning in giving them seeds, trees to plant and maintain for a period of 1 year with some allowances, so that at the end of the year, every state will have not less than 700 trees planted and maintained with sustainability. And those, it is not an ordinary trees, but economical trees that the community will benefit, and they will hold the soil together against erosion.
83-year-old grandfather, Pa John Ophiel, and another 78-year-old grandfather, Ogunjobi Samuel, are among suspects arrested in an ongoing nationwide crackdown on illicit drug traffickers and dealers by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. A statement by the Director of Media and Advocacy of the agency, Femi Babafemi, says Pa Ophiel was nabbed on Tuesday, April the 28th, 2026, during a raid operation at Samek by Powerline in Aba in Abia State, following credible intelligence that he was dealing in illicit substances. The statement also explains that as at the time of his arrest, 700 grams of skunk, a strain of cannabis packaged in retail sachets, were recovered from him. The statement also adds that a similar development by NDLEA operatives in Ekiti State on Thursday, April the 30th, caused the arrest of 78-year-old Ogunjobi Samuel at his residence while peddling 350 grams of the same psychoactive substance, which were seized from him at the time of his arrest. And now to the arts. Formerly Art Gallery put together a group exhibition of contemporary art and African performances right here in Lagos. We see this interesting pieces put together by these creatives on Art Review tonight.
The Formerly Art Gallery hosted a remarkable arts carnival. The exhibition, themed African Culture in the 800s, offered a journey 2 centuries back through the lens of art and tradition.
It has raised up curiosity in the society, in the public, to say, oh, African culture 1800. And it made a lot of artists to go and research before they came up with their artwork and say, okay, what happened 1800 in Africa? And that's why when you came in here, you will see West Africa represented, you will see Northern African artwork represented, you will see all the regions, the 5 regions of Africa represented in our carnival, arts carnival and all that.
The event featured nearly 100 artists and performers from diverse backgrounds, all showcasing African heritage, roots, and identity through their craft.
Most of the works that you see here are specifically selected for this purpose. So you see works relating to our culture, probably the mood, probably the faces, probably the steppings. So you see the value in most of these works, irrespective of the medium that is used to portray them.
In addition to revisiting the past, these works educate the present and offer a glimpse into the future. The artists weave emotional visual stories that bridge generational gap between what was, what is, and what is yet to come.
People are like, why are you using candle? Why are you using people's head with candle? The thing is, like, every candle has like a lifespan, and every drop of wax is like the year going by and by. And this artwork is tailored towards Western education. African had its own education even before the Western colonization and all of that. But we were introduced to Western education, which gave some people a level of advantage that others don't have. That actually gives some people what I call the unequal beginning. Someone like Samuel Ajayi Crowder is my focus on. And CDP is like 2 of them are knitted and the remaining 3 are not. They're in the same environment, right? But they have different advantage. that others might not necessarily have.
The exhibition earned high praise for its emotional depth and educational value, providing a unique perspective on the evolution of African traditions over the centuries.
And in the world of sports, Yannick Sinner, world #1, has dispatched Alexander Zverev 6-1, 6-2 to win the Madrid Open for the first time. The Italian claimed a record 5th consecutive Masters 1000 title and stretched his winning streak to 23 matches with a superb display in the Spanish capital. Only Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic have all managed to win 4 titles at this level in a row.
Yannick Sinner rewrites the history books. He becomes the first ever man to win 5 consecutive Masters 1000 events. Who can stop him?
And Kobe Mainoo celebrated his own new contract by scoring the winner that swept Manchester United back into the Champions League as they clinched a 5-goal thriller against Liverpool at Old Trafford. United led 2-0 at the break, courtesy of goals from Matthews and Benjamin. However, Liverpool fought back with goals from Dominic Szoboszlai and Cody. In the dying moments of that game, Liverpool failed to clear Luke Shaw's cross, and the ball fell kindly for Manute on the edge of the area, and he then crashed a first-time effort into the bottom corner. In other Premier League matches today, Bournemouth hammered Crystal Palace 3-0 at Vitality Stadium, while relegation-threatened Tottenham Hotspur defeated Aston Villa 2-0 at Villa Park. And Team Nigeria showcased its competitiveness in the thrilling series of performances at the 2026 World Athletics Relays in Botswana, securing major qualifications and delivering standout moments on international stage. In the women's 4x100 meters, the Nigerian quartet of Chigozie Rosemary, Obi Jennifer Chukwuka, Maria Thompson and Miracle Ezechukwu bounced back strongly from a difficult baton exchange on Saturday. The team clocked an impressive 42.94 seconds to finish second in their heat, pushing eventual winners France to a line in a dramatic sprint finish.
I feel so good because this is my biggest competition ever since I started athletics. And I'm so grateful to God. What happened yesterday was not anybody's fault. But thank God we had another opportunity to run again today, and we have already qualified. I'm so happy that I'm going to be in China and leaving Africa.
And the mixed 4x400 meter relay team comprising Samson Nathaniel, Taiwo Kudoro, Chidi Okezie and Patience Okon George also delivered a determined performance, running a season's best time of 3 minutes and 12.88 seconds. They secured second place and crucially qualified for the 2027 World Championship in Beijing. Team Nigeria further cemented its status by earning an automatic qualification for the World Ultimate Challenge later this year in Budapest. Mercedes Kimi Antonelli won the Miami Grand Prix, fending off a dogged challenge by reigning world champion Lando Norris, whose McLaren finished second. The 19-year-old Italian's third straight win now extends his lead at the top of this year's Formula One World Championship, while Norris's McLaren teammate Oscar Piastri rounded off the podium in Florida. Mercedes's George Russell came fourth, followed by Red Bull's Max Verstappen and Ferrari's Charles. Joel Embiid scored 34 points and grabbed 12 rebounds to propel the Philadelphia 76ers to a 109-100 victory over Boston Celtics that eliminated the 2024 champions from NBA playoffs. Tyrese Maxey scored 10 of his 30 points in a frantic fourth quarter as the 7th-seeded Sixers also thwarted the 2nd-seeded Celtic comeback bid, completing their own comeback from 3-1 down in the series of Book, an Eastern Conference semi-final showdown with the New York Knicks. But the series was the 23rd playoff clash between the two teams, and Boston had won the last 6, knocking Embiid out of the playoffs in 2018, 2020, and 2023.
Of this entire series. Jaylen Brown comes up short, and Embiid corrals the first rebound. Get up ahead for the talented rookie. DJ Edgekeller takes it coast to coast.
And that's when he's at his best, when he is attacking downhill.
Paul George attacks and slam.
Our starting to fall for the Celtics.
Embiid lost it. Brown did it. Oh, he went to the body, and White comes up with the block. 7 to shoot. Outside George. He's going to have to let it fly. Adam Baylor is balling. Brown wanted a foul. Instead of put it down, Embiid's going to have to put it up. And then again, it's White with a strip. In transition, White will take and finish. Hauser again. Way off on the 3. Cater for the offensive board.
Got the ball in this series.
Looking for Brown. Good position on Oubre. Through the contact. Brown. Outside. White thought about it. Half the shot clock on now for Brown. The screen created space. Brown got the contact and puts it home. Deuce. Tyrese is taking over.
Gotta go quick.
Brown will pull. Way off. Rebound. Back to Brown. White on the outside. No good. And the rebound of Maxey with 20 seconds to play. And for the first time in franchise history, the Philadelphia 76ers.
Outside our shores and away from sports, ahead of the meeting between the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the acting South African High Commissioner to Nigeria, the national spokesperson for the Action Alliance, one of the groups behind last week's protest, has announced the narrative that the protests in South Africa are targeted at migrants in the country. Rather, they are a call for a government to fulfill its promise of providing jobs and social welfare services for its citizens. She shared her views in a conversation on Diplomatic Channel alongside the president of Ohanaeze Ndigbo in South Africa, Dr. Ama Echi Okoko.
I really find it very problematic that it doesn't look like this issue is being directed at the government. It is being directed at the government. We marched to the Gauteng provincial legislature the other day. But when you march and you demonstrate, you're marching through the streets of your city or whatever. You want maximum exposure, and that is really what happened. Of course, in a mass demonstration, there does unfortunately happen to be instances where things go wrong, because it's not easy to deal with crowds that are absolutely very emotive and very angry. And we've done our level best to ensure that the marches have been peaceful.
We have various evidence to show that in other countries, when you have issues like this, it's left for the law enforcement to do their job. It's left for the immigration officers to do their job. It's not left for individuals to go on the street and start, acting in a manner that can raise tension in the community.
Iran's foreign ministry says the country has received a U.S. response to its latest peace proposal delivered via Pakistan. The media in the country says that officials are now reviewing that response. Iranian state media says Tehran's 14-point plan asked Washington to withdraw its forces from near Iran's borders, end its naval blockade of Iranian ports, and for all hostilities, including Israel's offensive in Lebanon, to cease. It has also called for an agreement between the two countries to be reached within 30 days. And back home, fresh facts have emerged over the alleged killing of 17-year-old boy Thompson Omokafe in Awoyaya area of Lagos State. The guard in charge of the compound where the body of their female victim was dumped is said to be languishing in prison. And this report highlights facts from that crime scene in Abule Parapo area of Awoyaya in Lagos. Last family moments with 17-year-old Thompson Omokafe shortly before he left home to visit a former schoolmate, months after they reconnected on social media. The family waited for hours with dashed hopes. Thompson never made it back home from that visit to his old-time schoolmate. 7 minutes drive from Abraham Adesoya Street is Abule Parapo, a community in Awoyaya area. In company of police officers from the State Anti-Kidnapping Unit, Channels Television visited the scene of the crime, a bungalow with twin mini apartments on Tunji Ogunsoya Street. In this apartment, 2 alleged murders were carried out, while a female victim was lured by 21-year-old Tony Ogenata, and his accomplice Elijah Emmanuel felt cheated over the amount given from the sale of her phone. He invited his own victim for better proceeds. No doubt their act was premeditated, as weapons were arranged.
When we finished him and doing the video, then the friend called me inside the room and told me, he said, Tony, this guy, as I mentioned earlier, is a friend from old time, and he knows me, he knows my auntie, he knows a lot about me, and he said if we let this guy go, he will definitely come back for me, and he said we should kill him, which I said, oh, okay. When I strangled him, and I held him until about a minute, when I got tired, and the boy was still alive, half alive, I'll say. So I told him I'm tired and I couldn't continue going on. He also held the guy and also choked him the same way I did until we saw that the boy was quiet.
To cover up their tracks, Thompson's body was tied up in a jumbo bag and dumped in a nearby bush along the community road. They immediately moved out of Awoyaya to their parents' abode in Ikorodu, where they were arrested by operatives of the Anti-Kidnapping Unit. They also opened up on the incident of November 2025, an earlier murder of a female friend also lured to the house and killed after 300,000 naira ransom was collected from the family.
The story is a bit similar to the male victim, only that ours was a bit different because she's a hookup girl, and then that time I needed some money to get a new PC for myself, and also my friend, he had an easy buy phone, which he said the phone was the payment of the phone was beginning to choke him. So we thought the easiest person to bring to the house, we thought that girl was the easiest person.
Her body was dumped here, few meters away from the house. However, the man who resides within the vicinity was arrested and charged. He is presently awaiting trial in one of the correctional facilities. Thompson's immediate relatives broke down uncontrollably, seeing the killers of their brother wearing his cloth. They want justice served soon.
On behalf of this family, what I'm asking for is just justice for my brother. That's what I just want. And I'm pleading with Nigeria that I need justice for my brother. Please, they should help me.
The Commissioner of Police, Tijani Fatai, warns parents about their children.
To ensure that we monitor our boys, our children, we monitor them closely to know what they are doing. Even our neighbors, we monitor them closely to know what they are doing.
For now, Thompson's phone and SIM card have been recovered from the suspect. An alleged multiple murder case being investigated and charged. However, a call has come for the police to revisit the first murder with the possibility of exonerating the man who was earlier charged. And the main news again. Former presidential candidate Peter Obi today announced his departure from the African Democratic Congress and immediately moved over to the Nigeria Democratic Congress alongside fellow former presidential candidate Rabiu Kwankwaso. Also today, the Nigerian police has dismissed ASP Nuhu Usman and 4 other officers over the unlawful killing of 28-year-old Mene Ogidi in Efuru, Delta State. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Nwawado. Have a wonderful week ahead. Good night.
Hello and welcome to Diaspora Network, the program where we celebrate Nigerians making remarkable strides around the world. I'm Teniola Oyetayo. On the program this week, we venture into the world of art. Our guest is Dr. Sanaliyu, a British-Nigerian artist with a career spanning more than 4 decades. We reflect on his journey into the art world and discuss the inspiration behind his latest exhibition, Epic Journey.